Jesus speaks to her. She goes into town. Everybody in the town came out and met Jesus. Like, man. Right? The third thing a woman is. Oh, let's go back. I'm sorry. 1 Timothy 1, 5, 13. Paul, the scriptures talk to us about women that are idle, busybody, speaking things they ought not. No elbows, please. Right? They become a threat when they're busybodies. You're not helping the ministry, man. Or woman. You're a busybody. You don't do idleness. When purpose is not known, that help becomes a threat. Because now it's destroying people. Destroying. Doesn't matter how talented you are. I've dealt with a lot of talented people, and everybody that works with them hates working with them. They wanted to quit. I'm like, okay. We got a time out here. Right? That becomes a threat. The third thing a woman is made to be is adaptable. First thing is to be good. Every woman say, I'm built to be good.
I'm built to be good.
Second thing is, I'm built to be a helpmeet. Third thing is to be adaptable. Able to adjust oneself readily to different conditions. Look at the story of Ruth. Ruth was a woman. She had lost her husband. Her mother-in-law had lost her husband. She wasn't even Jew, but she adapted her life and lived with her mother-in-law, Naomi, and went and adapted her life back and became married to Boaz. Her life, women tend to be adaptable. You know, men aren't adaptable. Women, ladies, young ladies, hear me and hear me well. Men do not change all that much. And guess what? Don't marry a young man and say, I'm going to change him. Stop. Pastors, leaders, if you hear any of your girls say that, say, girl, you ain't marrying that guy. If you're marrying him to try to change him, you're not going to do it. Only God can change the heart of a man.
Yes.
You marry him just like he is. If he was a loser when you married him, he's probably going to be a loser for a long time unless God helps him. That's how, let's be honest. If he's unwilling to work when he's a young man and every time he sees hard work, he runs from it, he's probably not going to be a very hard worker when you marry him, young ladies. And I'm not talking about money. I'm not talking about how much money he makes. Forget that. All right? It's not about how much money he makes. It's about, is he afraid of work? If he's afraid of work, then he's not fulfilling the purpose of what he was designed for. Because the first thing God gave a man was the four-letter word started with W. And it wasn't a wife. Because women take work. Right? Because men are supposed to cultivate. That takes work. Right?
Yes.
Cultivating takes work. How are you going to cultivate your wife if you see work and you run the other way? I look at young men in churches all the time. When it's eating time, they eat, that's fine. I love it. But then I wait around, I look, and I say, I'm going to see these boys pick up chairs. I'm going to see if they're going to clean up. I'm going to see if he's going to help that young lady to her car with a big old... I'm going to see if he's going to help that mama right there. She got a baby on one hand, a diaper bag in the other. She's pulling her stroller. I'm going to see that young man going to stand there and eat his soup and not put down his plate. He ain't the one. Mm-hmm. You ain't the one. And I got 3 girls and they're all pretty. You ain't the one. And you have to be, man, you got to father them like that. Boy, you ain't that hungry. Go help that lady. How you going to walk right by there and not pick up that piece of trash? In the church. Yeah. Oh, well, I'm hungry, Daddy. I don't care. You haven't missed a day of your life in eating while living in the United States of America. You don't know what it means to be hungry. I grew up in a refugee camp. We always hungry. Men, even if it's not your son, encourage them. Hey boy, you see that mama right there? You see grandma? You see tita, whatever. Help them. Women are made to be adaptable. Do you know that there are more homeless men than there are women? You know that women can adapt. They're so strong. Right? Men don't change all that much. The way they are is pretty much the way they are. You gotta love them just the way they are. And pray to God when you love him. Okay, I know my man. I'm not marrying him to change him because he ain't going to change all that much. But if you love him the way he is, then that's yours. No returns, no exchange, no refund. Hallelujah. Because you don't want leaders to change all that much. Let me tell you why. Could you imagine going to work? You work for a boss. And let's say whatever your project, you're an engineer, you got to draw this bridge, right? And one day he said, I want you to work on this section. At 8 o'clock, hey, you work on this section, okay? And then 30 minutes later, he comes and no, work on this section. Okay? Change it up. Okay? 30 minutes later, no, work on this section. No, work on this. Man, wouldn't that be a frustrating leader? That they would change with the movement of the wind? You see? Ladies, you don't want your man to change all that much like that. Because it would frustrate you. You think you're like, no. You wouldn't want that. So women are made to adaptable. Let me tell you why. Because women, innate in them is to be a helper, right? And so, whenever the vision of the leader happens, they have to adapt with it. We have to go this way now, and so they have to be adapting to move that way. Right? That's why they have to move. They have to adapt to whatever situation that calls for. That's what it means to help. You don't want to have a helper if you run a business, and every time you said no, for the next 6 months, we have to do this. No, I ain't. What? What do you mean you not? No. Wait, we hired you to help. What do you mean you not? What do you think as an owner of a business you're going to do with that person? You fired. Fired. Because now you become a threat. Well, and you can't adapt. So women are built to be adaptable. But when a woman doesn't know her purpose, she allows that adaptability, abuse would happen. Let me tell you why. You will never see a man get abused by his woman and he'll stick around that long. But you see a woman, her man would be a drunk, and he'd come in and slap her around. She'd cry, and then next day he wakes up, a few days later, he buys her 2 dozen of roses, and baby, I'm sorry, and she stayed with him, and it happened for years. And she's fine with it. No man would put up with that. Because like, you ain't touching me, girl. Bye. But women adapt. You see women all the time adapt to their situation. It's because they don't know their purpose. And when purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. When that man doesn't know his purpose, he begins to teach bad things. Like my father, my eldest sister tell me that my father, as children, every time he sees my siblings, I didn't know my dad, but my older siblings, every time they would hold a deck of cards, he would slap them. He never allowed cards in our house, ever. None of my brothers, my elder brothers or sisters know how to play cards. Why? He says it because it's in the age and blood to be addicted to gambling. Get it out of my house. Right? But if you look at leaders in men, they tend to teach the kids the stuff. They teach them how to smoke. It's not the moms. They teach them how to gamble, teach them how to drink. It's not the moms. The moms just adapt to it. The ladies just adapt to it. Men, we don't adapt well. We don't change often. That's why it's very hard for men to adjust. My mother-in-law and father-in-law were immigrants to Brazil as young kids or teenagers, right? Now they're here in America. My mother adapted to learning basic English. My father-in-law don't know a word. Hello and bye. And thank you. 3 words. He couldn't adapt to the change as quickly as my mother-in-law. He's better, but she picked up and she's learning and she's adapting to her situation. Ladies, you are built to be adaptable because you're built to be a helper. You can adapt to change, but don't allow that not understanding your purpose allow abuse to enter into your life. The third thing is an incubator. Fourth thing, incubator. To develop, grow, take form. Look at a woman. She's an incubator. Everything about a woman. She can receive the seed. And she can carry a baby. She's incubating that baby for 9 months or 40 weeks. Right? She's incubating. But look at this. She will also incubate thoughts and words. I'm going to prove it to you. Ready? She's incubating, right? A man comes home one day, get a frying pan across his face. Right? And he's like, what just happened? He goes, remember a month ago, we were talking about a month ago. The man was like, you've been incubating that for a month? Yeah, I just got around to dealing with it. Oh, so a woman holds that in her for a long time. Men, we can barely remember what we ate yesterday. Isn't that right? Now look at this. It's true, right? They hold it. Like me, okay, like Young. If he were to see me, this is how a man talk, right? If he see me, say, Pastor, man, did you get a haircut? Yeah, I just went to this new lady, cut my hair. Man, it's ugly. Get a new hair. It's like, oh, okay, well, I'll do it next time. And I'd forget that conversation. Young be like, Pastor, you got to get a new hairstylist or new barber or something. Haircut ugly. But if he were to tell one of the women, say, sister, your hair is ugly. She would incubate that. She would remember it for the next 10 years. Right?
That's true.
The 10 years. She would remember, she'd hold that in. Oh, I remember. I said that, yeah. 10 years ago? Yeah, to the day they would remember. I even remember where we stood when you said it. Sister, that building is gone. We laugh. I told you today is going to be funny. But now the men go, right? It's true. They incubate it so long that they just hold it in them and they can't release it. It's because that's a woman. She's built that way. So brothers and sisters, be careful how you speak to a woman. That's why there's trouble in the church, is because another woman be like, girl, that's an ugly dress.
Oh, no.
Where'd you get that dress? That's an ugly dress. And you see women, they do it, they know it too. They know that they're at each other. That's how they get at each other. Because that woman that just said that sister A, said that dress that sister B was wearing was ugly because sister B said something 3 years ago about her ugly shoes to sister A. Why are you women laughing so loud? You know I'm right.
Yeah.
Because she's just waiting for that day to come when she can say it back to her. See us, man? Young can tell me, man, Pastor haircuts ugly. I don't even remember. Be like, the moment it went in, like, yeah, I guess you're right. Oh well. We just move forward, go play basketball. But that woman would hold that in her heart for a long time. And see, that's what your pastor is saying, that you can be offended, right? But sometimes we wonder, it's because a woman is built to incubate. They hold things. Because that's what a helper does. And they never forget. You know why? If I were going to hire a secretary to help me, I don't want one that always forgets. The reason she's my secretary because I forget. Right?
Yes.
You know, like, I'll tell you another. When a purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable, right? So, if I'm hiring a secretary to remind me of my schedule, and she's forgetful, then what's the use? Now she becomes a threat. You're taking my money, and you're not helping me. It makes sense, doesn't it? You see, when you understand the way the women are built, then you would speak to them differently. When women speak, they say how they feel first. But men, when we speak, it's this, what I think. So men are always speaking in what they're thinking, and women tend to speak in how they are feeling. Okay? Young would tell me what he thinks about my ugly haircut. He says, it's just ugly. How do you like my haircut? It's ugly. Okay. But women was like, hey, this dress makes me feel so good. And if it were a man or another woman, said, but it's so ugly. Oh, you just violated her emotions. And emotions can be really real. That's why the worst thing a woman can do, a wife can do to a man, is when she buys a new outfit and she asks him the question, does this make me look fat? Oh my God. How are we going to answer that? How are we going to answer that?
Slide.
That is a loaded question. And the men are seeing this in their mind. An airplane crashing 500 miles an hour. Oh my gosh. All he sees is destruction in his mind. And he's like, Lord, I need the gift of wisdom right now. Please have somebody call me in an emergency right now. Baby, I got to go. But you didn't answer me. We'll talk about it later. That's the wrong question. Dangerous. See? It's so dangerous. The last thing a woman is, we got to be good, to help, to adapt, to incubate. Last thing is, she's a life giver. She gives life to everything she touches. It's like that young man that's a bachelor. His bed is on the floor. His house smells like a gym locker. But when she comes in, she brings life. All the good things about life, God put inside a woman. If there was no women on the planet, man, we wouldn't shave, cut our hair. We wouldn't cry. All the guys are laughing. You know how I know that's true? Because when we go to an all-weekend camp, some of the guys don't even shave, don't even bathe for 3 days. I'm like, I'm glad there's women in the world. Because women, God put all the goodness into women. Because you're built to be good, and you come in and everything just makes it better. Even the way you arrange food, it makes it look better. It's true, man. We just throw it on there. Eat it, man. We don't care. Like, people compliment when I go to church and my outfit. And I say, do y'all think I shop for myself? This is all my wife Lou's doing. Blame her. Because when I was married, I couldn't even color coordinate. I would wear green with purple. Oh, see? thought it was cool. I would walk around with a fluorescent yellow ball cap everywhere. And thought it was cool. But Dad, women give life, and look at this, when purpose is not known, she gives life to other things too. If you want, like if you were to tell a man, like I remember dealing with some people at church, and they would tell me, Pastor, so-and-so on this day, you got to meet us. Can we meet? I'll say, yeah, we'll do it. And then 3 days later, they talk to my wife, and my wife, they go, oh, yeah, we told Pastor LT that we're going to do this. She goes, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. He didn't tell me. And that's so much like a man. But if you want news to be spread out, you tell a woman, and within 20 minutes, 5 states would know. It's true. It's true. You're laughing, but it's so true. Like, you don't, like in my house, when there are family things or family meetings or family birthday parties or whatever, I be telling them, do not tell me. Tell my wife, and she would arrange it on the calendar. I look at my calendar on my phone. If it's not on there, it does not exist. Okay, my wife actually put it there, and she said, honey, they told you that. I said, really? Why didn't you tell me? That's a man. But a woman give life to everything. That's why Jesus, when he wanted to evangelize the whole place, the woman at the well, he didn't talk to a man, he went and talked to that woman. And that woman ran into the town. Hey, I found the Messiah. Guess what? He told me everything. What? I just gave you scripture. You know it's true. Right? And the whole town. That is one persuasive woman. Because when a man has a vision, he has a leader, he needs helper to spread the vision. Go, bride of Christ, and make disciples. If we are the church, we are the woman. We are the bride of Christ. In us are supposed to be incubating. Incubating is a word means to develop. Just like a woman having a baby, a little sperm, she in her body begins to develop that sperm and becomes a child, a baby. Just like us, there's a seed sown into our church, a new believer. We are supposed to be, as the bride of Christ, incubate and develop that person so that they can grow up to be mature disciples. Right? That's the word of God. And you can see it. Everything that a woman is built to give life. She can receive a semen, develop the baby, she gives birth to the baby, and she can feed the baby. She can feed that baby for almost a year. Just on her body. Wow. And not only that, she can give milk away to the hospital so other women can feed their babies. See, women, you are built to give life. But if you don't know your purpose, you can give life to other things that could be very detrimental to your purpose and your plan. You see? That's why the church is supposed to be adaptable as well. Because look at your church here in America. Right? We live in an American culture. But you're Filipinos. You're Asian. You've adapted as the church to put a productive church inside an American culture. That's the woman. That's the bride. And you're able to incubate. Look at all the young men and young women that was born into the church, and other people that came that were not believers, and you developed them, and now they're believers, and they're developing. They become strong. And now they're giving life to other people. Other people might not be part of you, but you've given life, including me. To me, when I come, you bless my life. And I'm not even from your church. That is a life of the bride of Christ. That is the life of a woman. That's why you're made. The church is made to be good. Right? The church is made to help those that are hurting and broken. They come and help and show them and comfort them and love them and preach about grace and redemption and mercy. Encourage them. That is the life of a woman. But whenever the woman doesn't know her purpose, she can do a lot of stuff. You ever heard that word? A scorned woman?
Oh, no.
What is that movie? That woman was scorned and she was trying to kill everybody. Right? And look at this. Ladies, you are very persuasive. I'm going to give you revelation. You ready for this revelation? In the Garden of Eden, do you not think that the serpent was there when Adam was there?
Yes.
He was, right? You don't think that the serpent didn't try to tempt the man?
It didn't work.
He did. But because men don't change all that much. Look at this. He convinced a woman, and the woman was so powerful, she persuaded her man. So stop thinking that you're powerless. It wasn't the serpent that tempted the man. It was the serpent that tempted the woman, and the woman who gave it to the man. Ladies, protect your man. Be careful that you're not getting tempted by other people and making your husband make choices that's not God. That includes your pastor. Right? Because women, you have a lot of power, more than you think. Think about it. You don't think the serpent was trying to tempt Adam, but it didn't work. But he said, I'm going to get this woman. And that woman was able to persuade her man while the serpent couldn't. Wow. What does the Bible says? Wives, you pray for the man, and God's going to work in their heart, right? See, a woman is made to receive. That's why she can incubate. She gives life. You give a woman a seed, one seed, and she gives you a baby. You give a woman just a few items, a few ingredients, and she can cook you a meal. Right? She can stretch it. That's a helper. That's an incubator. That's a life giver. But it can be really bad when she doesn't know her purpose. She can really bring destruction onto whatever she's doing. That's why the church is a great thing when we know our purpose. But how many times have churches destroyed lives? How many people have you met that don't go to church because they were hurt in the church? Huh. You see? They were hurt in the church. And it's because, why? When we don't know our purpose, we become very dangerous.